BPSA by Annabelle B., Gavin, Eli, and Lizette. Save the bees. We need to save the bees.
75% of fruits, nuts, and veggies are pollinated by bees. From 1984 to 2005, 50% of domesticated bees died. Pesticides in non-lethal doses can come with the bee and kill the entire hive. We need bees.
This is our math diagram and our graph. In our math diagram, we show that the domestic bee population. It dropped hundreds of thousands over this time period, 1984 to 2005. And if a baby bee goes into an adult bee and runs into some pesticides on a plant or a flower, then if it goes back to the hive, then it can kill the entire hive. And then there's no more baby bees, which means no more bees, which means there's no more food. We want you to go and help the bees and stop using pesticides. Thank you.
Survival of the Bees by Cage, Cooper, Barron, and Riley. Save the bees.
Decrease of the bees. 75% of bees are dying. I got this information from We Need Bees.
Bees are dying because of the use of pesticides on crops, bee feeding, parasites, and the global decline in wildflowers. I got this from Robotics Bees Could Be the Solution to the world's bee problem.
Why we need to save the bees. The bees help keep our planet green and hungry bugs visit plants because they provide us with an important resource called nectar. 80% of our flowers are pollinated by bees. So if the bees die, our flowers would die too. So without the plants die, and I got this from the Rusty Patch of Bumblebees added to the endangered species list.
Thank you from the bees.
Be a Hero and Help Save the Bees by Hector, Leah, Joshua, and Boudreaux.
Bees are dying, and it is up to us to stop it. There are many opinions of why bees are dying. Some of them are pesticides and exposure. Bees pollinate 75% of the foods that we eat. If they disappeared, there is a chance that we could starve. Some ways we can help our pollinating friends are sweeping their space and discouraging the use of pesticides. We got our information from the articles Rusty Patch Bumblebee added to endangered species list. Want to eat and save bees from extinction, UN report says. And big question, why do bees sting?
25% of the food is pollinated by butterflies. 25% of the food is pollinated by hummingbirds. 50% of the food is pollinated by bees.
Don't use pesticides because if you do, the bee will try and pollinate it and it'll die, and then the plant will die because the bee can't pollinate it.
We encourage you to take action and help save the bees today. Thank you.
Be
Awesome
by
Annabelle, Ann Presley, Jet, and Siren.
Another tactic is not to use pesticides that harm bees. I got my information from Rusty Patch, the bumblebee added to endangered species list.
Rusty Patch Bumblebees bees added to endangered species list. The society previously said that bees probably were dying because of viruses spread by commercially raised bumblebees.
Lastly, I know that Tom Melius from the Fish and Wildlife Service said pollinators are small but mighty parts of nature that sustain us in our world. Take action statement. You should look things up about bees and tell other people about bees. No pesticides on plants. Plant more plants for bees.
This is our math diagram that Presley made. And it's about how much bees are dying and how much are alive.
Or how much hives should we clean?
This is a bee diagram that I made, and it's about where the parts are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be a Hero by Corey Caitlin Steele Israel.
This is our diagram. This is why we chose the bees.
Facts. Bees are dying because of pesticides. Bees help us grow food.
This means that they help other plants grow. Bees transfer pollen between the male and female parts.
The honeybees live in hives or colonies. The members of the hive are divided into 3 types.
Honeybees are fab flyers. They fly at a speed of 25 kilograms per hour. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching our video.
Murder mystery. Hello, today you will join us in Murder Mystery Bees. So, we have our suspects, pesticides, disease, and global warming. Now we will look at our suspect or two.
First, news article what to eat. Then, save the pollinator from extinction.
It says among the culprits, the way farming has changed, so there's not enough different kinds of crops and wildflowers for pollinators to use as food.
Pesticide use, including a controversial one called neonicotinoid that attacks the nervous system of bees, habitat loss to cities, disease, parasites, and pathogens, and global warming. Is really all of them? Hurry, arrest all of them. Thanks for helping us arrest them. We couldn't have done it without your help. Now, could you tell farmers to stop using pesticides, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Be kind to the bees. We got all of our facts from the articles We Need Bees and Don't Need Bees. Bees are the most important building block of farming, from flowers to food.
Bees pollinate 50% of our fruits, nuts, and veggies.
Bees are very important to the environment because they pollinate our food.
Between 1947 and 2005, there has been 50% of the bees lost.
We labeled the diagram so you can tell what each part is.
This diagram shows how much bees we lost from 2007 to 2010.
Now save the bees and plant flowers.
Thank you.
BPSA by Hiram, Grant, Hunter, and Riker. First, you need to grow flowers or plants to save the bees. I think it is a good idea to grow plants for the bees. Thank you for your attention from the article We Need Bees.
Save the bees. Next, we need bees because if we don't have bees, we won't have food to eat because they pollinate 75% of our fruits, vegetables, and nuts. We got this information from We Need Bees. From the article We Need Bees.
Bee diagrams. Why are bees dying? We think bees are dying because they are farmers and others have been using pesticides on their crops, and the bees are trying to pollinate the pesticides. So when they do, they die. Here's our graph and the end by Riker, Hunter, and Grant and Hiram. Hiram's not here today. Good.
By Emma,
Jordan,
Cadence.
Thank you.
be a leader.
Without bees, our forests, meadows, parks, and shrublands will die. But between 1947 and 2005, more than 50% of our bees have died.
the first graph that we have here shows how much of our actual food that we eat almost every day is actually pollinated by bees. So we have 30% of our fruit and veggies, 20% of our meat, 25, sorry. 45% of our nuts, like peanuts. And here we have a beautiful graph that was made by this here group. And these little leggies carry pollen to help all these things that we talked about earlier grow, and other things like plants and flowers.
What pesticides are supposed to be used for?
Pesticides are meant to be used for different bugs instead of bees, like bugs that will eat the plant. Thank you! Thank you all for watching. We love to do this for you guys. Now go plant some flowers and don't use pesticides. Be a hero.
Facts about bees. Fact 1, 50% domesticate bees lost between 1947 and 2005. Fact 2, bees pollinate 75% fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Fact 3, over 120 years, 50% of wild bees have died.
In 1998, there was a higher death in honeybee hives than in 2018. This means they used more pesticides in 1998 than in 2018.
A bee life cycle of the bee. First the queen lays an egg, then it starts to hatch, then it goes into pupa, and then it finally starts to turn into an adult.
Now let's save the bees. How to fix this is you need to stop using pesticides so we don't kill bees.